KUJI ratings are a science-based system for measuring legal expertise. They're objective and they're independent, and they're changing how clients and lawyers work together. If you've seen my other videos, well then you'll know that the research behind the KUJI rating scale began the day I left legal practice in 2006, with final calibration tests completed a decade later on lawyers from over 100 of the world's leading law firms. You'll also know that the science we use is from the field of cognitive development, which covers decades of research on experts and expertise performance across many different disciplines. If you're interested to learn more, I've summarized this research in my book, Unlocking the Secrets of Legal Genius. The basic approach to what we do at Meisterline builds on the traditional expertise development systems used as far back as the Middle Ages in Europe. It's from there that we get our 6 bands of expertise, which go all the way from novice to master. That's important to know, because this incredibly useful foundation has stood the test of time in applied, real-world settings over centuries. The key innovation of our research is the way we've been able to add a quantitative dimension to the assessment of lawyers and their expertise. While I can't describe in detail exactly how KUJI ratings work, because we have to guard against lawyers gaming the system and also avoid giving some of them inside knowledge that others won't have, I can tell you about one of the key quantitative relationships that we do use. In a moment, I'll show you a chart that describes a statistical relationship between 2 different cognitive processes: the process of identifying issues and the process of synthesis. But let me first explain these processes more fully. When lawyers are working to understand a real-life legal scenario or problem, they begin by identifying the key or the most relevant facts. So this might be the nature of a pre-existing medical condition in a medical insurance claim, or how customers choose between 2 competing products in a competition law or passing off case. Identifying issues requires considerable skill, and it's possible to identify novices at this stage of problem solving by how they often include a lot of irrelevant information, while truly expert lawyers very quickly and almost magically sometimes identify just the essential issues. Once these issues have been identified and brought into the lawyer's working memory, which includes information evident from the facts of the case as well as information drawn from the lawyer's long-term memory, the second process of synthesis begins. This is where legal rules and facts are combined and conclusions are reached. Coming up with a legal opinion or forming a view on what should be done next in a given situation also needs to be subjected to self-monitoring. This is something that experts do much better than other lawyers, and this is another part of the synthesis process that separates the best professionals from the merely average ones. If you're familiar with the work of Nobel Prize-winning psychologist and economist Daniel Kahneman, and in particular his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, you'll recognize parallels here with the System 1 and System 2 thinking that he and his colleague Amos Tversky studied in their experiments on cognitive bias. Thinking fast, which is System 1 thinking, is the initial, often intuitive response to a situation, while thinking slow, System 2 thinking, is the analytical, reasoning process by which we make sure that an answer or response is correct. This is the less emotional, more rational, and more logical part of the decision-making and problem-solving process. Importantly, Kahneman and Tversky were primarily concerned with how novices made errors because their System 1 thinking was unreliable. But for experts, their System 1 thinking and their System 2 thinking are of a much higher quality, and this essentially is what makes them experts. So, with these 2 parts of the problem-solving process in mind, I now want to show you the chart from which the idea of the KUJI rating scale first started to develop. This is a reproduction of a chart from page 258 of my book. It dates back to 2012 and was part of my PhD research, What it shows us is something that had never been recorded before. It reveals a critical relationship between a lawyer's level of expertise and how much time, as a proportion of total problem-solving time, they spend on synthesis versus time spent on identifying issues. When we put this time ratio on the vertical axis and lawyers' levels of expertise on the horizontal axis, we discover a remarkable linear relationship between time spent on these different cognitive activities and how expert a lawyer is. While this is just a single variable, the correlation here is exceptionally strong, with an adjusted R-squared value of 0.98 and a p-value of 0.007. These measures of statistical significance show a very strong explanatory connection. Think of it like this: if you had only this variable available to you as the sole point of differentiation between lawyers with different levels of expertise, you would, on average, be able to grade almost every lawyer with a remarkably high degree of accuracy. This was a breakthrough event in the development of the KUJI rating scale. Now we could begin to quantify a lawyer's level of expertise, and by adding even more inputs, we could increase both the precision and the accuracy of the resulting rating numbers over a wider range of lawyers. This particular chart was based on just 70 case studies, but that was enough to get us started, gathering more data and finding additional linkages with other aspects of expert thinking, including measurements of cognitive load and deliberative doubt. These were the beginnings of the assessment methodology that we use today to calculate KUJI ratings. I hope that's given you some insight into the science behind our approach to quantifying the expertise of legal professionals. While this is far from a comprehensive account, which unfortunately isn't possible given that this is a live testing methodology, at least now you know where it all started and how we've approached the development of the rating process. If you'd like to learn more, we've created a series of videos covering the origins, mechanics and applications of KUJI ratings and our other professional expertise metrics. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to like and subscribe and connect with us on LinkedIn and on our website at Meisterline.com. Thanks for watching.